Frontline Chat with Harry Tanguy and Dave Wardell.
Hello. Oh, should we get rid of that background? It's a bit disturbing, isn't it? How are you, buddy? You right?
Good, yeah. I normally start with a picture of Finn, but literally as the music stopped, he got up and walked out of the living room. So he is here somewhere. I'll show you Finn in a minute. Hello, everyone. Hello, Harry.
Hello.
We haven't spoken since last week, have we?
Yeah. No.
I'm over COVID. I'm negative. Oh my God. Not that I'd recommend anybody get any illness, but don't get COVID. Avoid it. It's rubbish. It is.
Yeah, you had it bad.
No, I didn't. I didn't have it bad. It was just frustrating. It was like having a bad cold, but then like you get up to do something, and then 10 minutes into it, your brain would say, "Nope, that'll do. Stop," and you had nothing. You had to stop. So
Sounds
it was
like me on a
really
good
bizarre.
Day,
really, really bizarre.
Sounds like me on a good day.
Yeah.
No, I was lucky with COVID. It was a mild inconvenience.
Yeah.
And yet everyone else I've spoken to said, "Oh no, I was in bed, or it was really bad flu, and all that sort of thing." I'll tell you what, I have a disability.
For you? What's that? Oh, what did someone catch up with you? What did you do?
Right. Should I tell you the truth, or should I just embellish?
Yeah, embellish it. Embellish.
Right. I have decreed on here in the past that the only bit of ego thing I do now and then, and you wouldn't believe it because I don't do it enough, is whiten the teeth with those little strips you get. And you're thinking, well, how the hell did that come? Well, so I did this. I didn't even tell my dentist there. I was so ashamed because they were trying to flog me off. You know, the hygienist. I thought, nah, it's too expensive. And so I did the top, the bottom, and then you pull the strips off. They're not even hard. And then later on, I think, that's funny, there's a really big hole there. And I found it in the bin attached to the strip. It's snapped off.
No.
Yeah.
You basically, over the course of years, sawed your tooth off.
No, it wasn't even that. Oh, no, I had to talk like that. I had to talk like that. I look like people keep giving me money in the street, you know? This is really bad.
Oh, well, something we're going to talk about later. Let's hope with your disability you don't get an access refusal like our friend we're going to talk about in a little while.
Yeah, whoa. Yeah, exactly. Well, now you bring it on to that. This is just a really thing. This is one where we need to educate the public, people, everything. Sean Dilley, good friend of ours, isn't he?
Very good friend, yeah. Incredibly supportive through the Finn's Law stuff. And before he now works for a big broadcasting company. Before he worked for them, he was, fantastic in steering the Finn's Law campaign. But he's blind or very partially sighted. And so he's had a guide dog for, not the same guide dog, but probably for over 20 years. And every now and then, he gets refused service. So it could be a taxi. That happens to him from time to time where, he's waiting at the side of the road for his booked cab and they'll just drive past him or refuse to let him in. And last week, bless him, he had 2 refusals at 2 different Tesco's, which I find incredible. The guide dogs have been around for someone might correct me, but they've been around for a very, very long time. And an interesting fact for you, the first guide dog was a German Shepherd, and they're said to be the Rolls Royce of guide dogs still. And ever since certainly as long as I can remember, we were taught guide dogs. You see the sign on the windows, no dogs except guide dogs.
Yeah. And everyone's so scared about upsetting anyone nowadays. I thought the last person you're going to try to upset is that, can you leave your guide dog at the door, please? Yeah. Really? So now you're banning all blind people because they can't go shopping. That's the alternative. So these people aren't being very clever when they speak to these people like Sean.
No, I mean, I'll read you. I'll read you the the crux of it. Assistance dogs, stroke guide dog owners have important rights under the 2010 Equality Act. So it was brought up to date in 2010, but even before that, they were still allowed. This law allows people with disabilities to have the same rights as everyone else to use the services supplied by shops, banks, hotels, libraries, pubs, taxis, restaurants, etc., etc., etc. It is illegal to refuse access to somebody who has an assistant stroke guide dog. And we need to make sure that our friends, family, colleagues are educated, because I can't believe in 2022 that people, and I see it on social media all the time, so I know it happens every day, that people are being refused access to the basic amenities. Poor Sean, he posted that. He hasn't posted a video of the guy doing it or anything like that. He hasn't been nasty. He's offered to educate. And the kickback he got disgusted me almost as much as the refusal that he got from Tesco in the first place. People telling him to get over it and all that sort of stuff. But I want to go back to the point I made. This is a basic right of any human being to be able to go into a shop and buy yourself some groceries.
No.
And he was
I'd love to
denied
get-
that. So when
I'd
these
love to
people
get
are on
this
there
person-
trolling, yeah, I'd love to have been there when it happened.
I'd love to
When
get
these
this.
people are on there trolling, saying get over it, imagine
put a
you go to
blindfold on
Tesco
them.
to get some milk and you're
Put a
refused.
blindfold on them and tell them to go shopping for the week's shopping. Go on, get
I
on
have
with
been
it.
there for a couple of couple of Sean's refusals, and Sean's brilliant, bless him. He does take time to try and educate, but then sometimes if you pull out the police badge, people listen a little bit harder. But yeah, educate everybody. Guide dogs, assistance dogs are allowed anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's not
Yeah,
good.
exactly, Maria. They're not. Sammy, his dog, who's due to retire later this year. He's a wonderful. You wouldn't even know he was there. He's such a lovely dog. Yeah. Anyway, that's my soapbox.
Next one. Did you see on social media the police dogs at the protest? Well, I have a little bit of that. Thank you, Sharon. A little bit of that, which was on. It's this one here. And there's other footage.
Dogs are out. Protesters.
There is other one. That's it.
Carnage off the street. Dogs
On the
are
other
out.
side,
Protesters.
the dogs are busy, really clearing the streets. And people were saying to me,
Carnage off the street.
well, and there was one, I won't show on here, but there's one where a woman then starts to interfere with police officers, and she's barged out of the way, and another police dog has grabbed this. Now, I'm saying to people, if you are in a situation where there are police dogs deployed, you shouldn't be there. There has been serious unrest. They're clearing the streets. They're using reasonable force, because you don't need to be there. You don't need to be bitten. They're not loose, running around the crowds, biting people. You have put yourself in that position to either taunt the dogs, thinking you're being clever, or to cause obstruction to those being arrested, or obstruction saying, I'm not going to move from the street. Some of these people legitimately, I don't waste too much time on them now, but after I've spent a little sentence saying, well, could they use their professionalism to negotiate with it? Gone is the time for negotiation. That is not a time for negotiating. All right?
I get that some people have never been in that sort of situation, and therefore they might not know how it all works and what it feels like, and I get that, and then maybe that's sort of a little bit of ignorance from people saying, "Oh, what? Can't you just offer them a cup of tea?" It doesn't work like that. Like Harry said, it doesn't work like that. And using a dog or a horse or anything like that is quite a high level. So we don't just do it willy-nilly. We have to get there.
They should, in my view, they should use them a lot earlier than they do, but they're aware of this. And they say, and somebody said on there, it's a completely legitimate chap on there, well-meaning, he wasn't anti-police, but he said, well, don't you think they should think twice because it looks so bad to the public? I said, the public have got to realise that sometimes policing isn't pretty. And if you want policing to look pretty, then we'll only arrest the compliant people. Because once they become non-compliant, it can look pretty ugly. It's not a nice, cuffed, thank you very much, like a superhero on TV. It's not like that. It's usually a messy scrap because they're a bugger to get hold of sometimes. And the same with police dogs. If they're bitten your backside, okay, if you had a camera to follow that person around to see what they were doing, you'd be probably applauding the fact that they had his backside.
Exactly the point I was going to make. If people were to see a 10-second clip like that and go, oh right, I'm not sure I'm happy with that, let me do a little bit of investigating to see what the lead up was to that, you would see the videos where the officers without dogs came under attack. They were being punched, they were being pushed, they were being kicked. And they really had, and then this is after a whole day of fights in Hyde Park, where it really was getting out of control. This is at the end of the day, and these officers came under attack, no longer in the park. They're now in a busy shopping centre on a busy, very famous street in the centre of London. And these officers, when they got off their bus to deal with the crowds, came under attack. And someone, thankfully, at a high level said, right, that's it. We've taken enough. Let's get the dogs out. And the dogs dealt with it in that 10 seconds. That just shows the power of dogs.
Yeah.
What I want you to understand is the senior officer will have gone through so many levels to decide that the dogs were coming out. They didn't just decide, you know what, let's get the dogs out and set them on a bunch of people. Those people had been attacking police officers for most of the day, and certainly in the lead up to that actual incident, and the dogs dealt with it quickly and robustly in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. And so please, I would say put your account there is, because I'd get it on the street and people say, oh yeah, why didn't you just, you could use your skills you've learned to negotiate with people. Those people there who are having their backsides bitten and they're being shoved out the way quite roughly, and quite right so, they're not there to have a discussion about the rights of civil society. They're there to cause trouble. They're there to be obstructive. They're there to argue. They're there because they don't like the police and they want their way. Gone is the time for negotiation at that point. And
even then, they would have been told. The police dogs are coming out. Clear the street. They will have been told. There was someone on there saying, "Oh, but why would you?" There was an arrest happening in Hyde Park. And the officers were scrabbling with two people on the floor. I don't know what the lead up was to it. I probably could have done some more research and found out. But someone said that they'd been instigated a number of fights. And so they needed arresting in order to stop more fights happening, in order at the very basic level to stop a further breach of the peace. But I'm sure there was other more suitable offences. So they'd arrested them. So they're on the floor. They're not pinning them. They haven't got their knee on their neck or anything like that. They're just applying handcuffs, and people are rushing in to try and push the cops off, and a dog was deployed. And someone said, well, surely you shouldn't have a dog out in that sort of situation. You should be using the dog to drive the crowd away. And I thought, well, surely we watched the same video, because that's exactly what the dog does. It drives the crowd away so that not only the officers can stay safe, but also the person on the floor can stay safe. So, they're fantastic force multipliers. And when you get a group of them together in a situation like that, boy, can they save a lot of time, effort, and possibly injury to many people.
Precisely. And we have here, nice picture. Did you see the video? Did you see the video of the police dog running into the football pitch?
There we
go.
I shared that on my social. This is brilliant.
Carvalho! Ih, rapaz, entrou cachorro dentro do campo.
Time of his life. Look at him. You can see he's almost trying to dare some of them to run, and none of them do, thankfully.
He grabs a ball. You'll see the officer, sheepish officer.
Rembrandt, só complemento importante aqui.
He's brilliant, Messi.
He's having a time of his life. I like the way he's covering his nether regions. That footballer.
Ele é parceiro de algum policial. Tá
look, he's getting the ball. He's right off with the ball.
Aí fez a festa da galera.
Now, that dog's now thinking, I've got the toy and Dad wants to take it off me, so I'm running away.
and now, so he thinks, I know, I'm going to get another ball. Look at this, I've got a better ball than you.
Firme. Já temos o craque do jogo, viu? Missão pro Juan e pro Vitor descobrir o nome do craque do jogo aí.
I like the way
Oh,
the
I
referee
love
tells
it.
them off at the end. That was brilliant. Yeah, I couldn't help but share that on my social media. But it does go to show that dogs do have, they do have their own character, and they can be mischievous at times.
Speaking of character, this is on yours as well, I see. People, you should follow Finn's thing. He's quite good, look at this. This is brilliant. This is a few years ago now. That little dog's probably not around now, but Roy, you can just know what's going to happen.
Oh dear! Run for your life!
I love the way they're just in hysterical laughter as well.
Dogs in charge, run away! Oh, that's beautiful.
It's just wonderful. The just animals like that, just fantastic. Really, really love it. They brighten up our day.
They do,
yeah. Going on to this, I think people have seen recently nasty incident, reverse ramming. I think that's involved. I think we have our own thought. I don't know if this vehicle's been but there's better footage than that, to be honest. But if it's been located, but that was a reverse ram on this police car. When you think the tailgate on that thing could have gone straight through the screen. We've had it in Devon and Cornwall many years ago, where there were people from it was a travelling fraternity where they were stealing farm machinery and trailers, and the police panda car turns up, and they literally reversed all the way up onto the roof of the police car, patrol car. And then went off. So, there was one
on one of these cop shows where a 4x4 reversed, and it just went up the bonnet and onto the roof. Luckily, everyone was okay. But yeah, reverse ramming is one of those nightmares. And the reason they do it, if anybody doesn't know, normally is if you reverse into the car, you're probably not going to do much damage to your own car, but you'll probably disable the engine of the car you reverse into, which is why it's a tactic they like to use.
I've just looked at how many tweets I've done since I've started this. 92,000.
What? You need a
Honestly,
hobby, Harry.
Under your name, it will say under your name. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, about 50 odd, I think.
50.
55,100. 55,100.
You clearly haven't been trying.
Well,
I like this photo.
Quality over quantity, see?
I know. I can't argue with that. Look, BCH armed police units. One of our south-based ARV teams do a de-arming and briefing. That's just a nice photo, that, isn't it?
They've got a couple of guys that do some, and gals that do some really, really lovely photography, and they've got a really good account going there.
Yeah, like that. Oh, I'll tell you what I was up to today. Here we go. There we go. Right, first of all, I have to declare I hate this photo. This was a typical, I'm not going to have an ego. I'm just going to put it on. But that's what I was doing. Crime Readers Association. I was at the Imperial Hotel, nice posh hotel. Gave a bit of gave an hour's chat to a whole bunch of lovely people, crime writers. Of course, Agatha Christie's around Torquay, which is where I am. That's where she was working, lived, and whatever. So yeah, that was cool. Just giving a talk. That was this morning, and I've got about 15 books now to read because gave me them as a gift, and some very nice chocolates, which have almost gone. So yeah, that was good. Oh, and there was a lady there who said, "Oh, I'm glad you talked about," because I gave them some stuff that would be helpful, perhaps, if they're writing. Because I work with consulting cops as well. Consulting cops, so people can Google that if they're writing a book. Google consulting cops, and then say, "Look, I just need to know a technical part about policing." They put their question in there. They distribute that to people like me, who can then answer for a small fee. And that's consulting cops. So they can just get a little bit of, technical data and correct procedure or something that isn't confidential sort of thing. This woman said, "Oh, my son's a ALV officer in Brighton, and I never really understood why he didn't go for promotion, and now I get it. So thanks just for that alone. So hopefully our son in Brighton will be grateful, because his mum completely gets it now, why he likes driving fast cars and shooting guns.
Yeah, it's brilliant. People keep talking about my backdrop. Look, obviously there's some dogs up there that we're not allowed to talk about because my force will have a heart attack. Like, you all know who she is anyway. That one there and that one. Oh, this is odd. It's all mirrored. That one there. Yeah. It's a new. You notice there's more pictures of animals up there than there is of the kids.
I was saying today, I just don't have any pictures of my children because it's impossible to get them.
Yeah.
You know, when they're younger, they were just sulking all the time, or they're covered in a hoodie, or and it's just impossible to actually have. Or you take photographs of them and they go, oh, delete that one, and that one. I haven't got any then.
So this one here, Finn, he's just after his first birthday. That's where we passed out and we completed our course in Surrey in 2010. So he's a wee whippersnapper there.
Young, sprightly you. This is Arthur and me having tapas. I go to a cafe and I'm in the middle of my third book or second novel. So that's it. He liked chili, I found out.
Oh, wow.
Because when the bowl was finished, I just had a little finger and I went, and he liked it. And I wondered if he was going to have an adverse reaction. And then I got my second finger. Then you eat that. And then
all right on the way in. What's it like on the way out?
Huh?
Well, it's all right on the way in. What's it like on the way out?
No, he's all right. God, that looked bad. Yeah. No, he was cool. He's fine. He's rugged cast iron stomach. I say that. He does have trouble now and then. But yeah, no, cool. It's been all right. We're going to London soon, aren't we?
We are, yeah. There might be another event as well. Did you see the other one? There's all sorts of amazing.
Yeah, I know.
I know. His head.
I know. Look at that.
In the middle is a very good friend of ours, John Nichol, a fantastic author and pundit. So if you have a look at his books, they're incredible. Once you've read one, you'll want to read them all.
Oh, I love his books. The real personal side of Leicester pilots, Spitfire pilots, taking the real personal family, human side of it. This bit I love. We were with, that was the date when we were with Sean Dilley, the blind guy you were talking about before. And we didn't know where we were going.
You might have had a beer or three afterwards.
Hey, he's a good boy.
Sorry, I have to show a quick picture of Finn because he's on the move a lot today. There's lots of people here, so he's off watching the Formula One up the top in the man cave. So very quickly, there's
it's F1. Oh, good. I'm going to have a look at that later.
They're having a sprint qualifying, so it's
very exciting.
Sprint qualifying.
Yeah. Oh, I look forward to that. I'm going to have a look at that. I try to do a bit of writing every day, but it's failing at the moment with stuff. But we're getting there. Right. What have people been saying? John insists that was pure chance that photograph was taken with the halo. It's your pitchfork. You say because of my Cornish? We don't. That's more Somerset, I'd say. Pitchfork.
What's that?
Cornwall. Dogs take after their owners. They do. That's why Dave is old and knackered now. Oh, leave Finn alone. He's 13. 13.
Bless him. Bless him. He had a lovely walk yesterday. I should post a video later on about his walk yesterday. A lovely one.
Oh, good. Trying to get these messages out. My computer's not really going well. I'm going to have to because I didn't read many novels, but now I've been given so many novels, I'm going to have to start reading them, get into them, because I'm seeing as I was writing a couple of myself, but mine are really true facts. Do you know what I mean? So I've never had to think of things, even the characters, genuine people. I just change the names to protect the guilty. It's let's see what everyone's saying here. Dave loved the photos. He's all there is one of me in speedos with a police helmet on, which I use for my conferences. basically, there's me as a special constable with my tunic, hat, and a very proud mum next to me when I was 19. And then I got a bit confused when they put me to patrol the beach, and there's literally me in my Speedos with a police helmet on.
Didn't you share a semi-naked picture earlier in the week? Was that this week? Or was that last week? You post so much. I can never keep up, Harry.
So many semi-naked photos I sent you of me, Dave.
Yeah.
But yes, I think I'd spare you all that.
Oh, I'm going to find it.
Oh, look, you see, Alison's nice. Do you know, I was talking about this with my neighbour because he was in Princess Theatre and he did one of those Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type stuff. And he did the thing and he won. He said he won the first round where he had to go on stage. And he said, if I'd known I was going to have to go on stage, I wouldn't have done it. He said, because I had a little peg exactly like mine, readiness for a cat. And he said, you don't think you're vain, do you? But you're like, oh yeah, it's true. It's so true. I'm clearly much more vain than I thought. So, especially as I normally grin like that. Can't help it.
Bless ya. You have got a nice smile normally. I haven't. I've got a terrible smile.
Oh no, I know, a bit dodgy, and I far too much coffee. So that's why I just put those strips on, which people say, oh, you shouldn't use them. They're like caustic soda.
Your post about getting hedgehogs to drive more slowly made me chuckle.
Did it?
Yeah. Well, there you are. Look. No nipple.
Oh yeah, there's a semi-naked one.
No nipple.
Oh, that's the one when I said that no nipples were shown in the making of this photo or something, was it?
That's one, yeah. And then you constantly put videos of you on the beach just to annoy me.
Yeah, Lusty Glaze. That's my place of zen. We're going down there next week. Oh, and then I'm on Dart. Oh, Saturday. Not here next Saturday, Dave.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I'll probably just put a bit live from Dartmoor, but just randomly because I'm with. Look, we're mirroring.
Yeah. In love.
That means we find each other attractive, doesn't it?
Exactly. We are in love. we got a double room, haven't we, when we go to London as well?
Yeah, that's true. Are we topping and tailing, or are we spooning? Should we move on?
Yeah, I think we should move on. I think by the time bedtime comes, we won't care what happens or what we're sleeping in. I think that's getting a little bit messy.
Oh God, because we're going with Scotty, aren't we? Scotty's entertaining us, and it's going to be. I mean, John Nichol was bad enough.
Yeah,
you know, John Nichol.
It was.
And the only one getting us around London was Sean Dilley. That was the only thing. Yeah. He knew where we were going.
Thank goodness someone was responsible, and it wasn't Sean; it was Sammy, his dog, that was the responsible one.
Look! I didn't mean to bring that one up, but it's fine. There we go. Look at that. Biddy! Hooray!
Oh,
that's okay.
Sat on. Max has come for a cuddle.
Hello, Max.
A cuddle monster. You're a cuddle monster.
Oh, look, he's loving his dad. Loving his dad. Where's
love his cuddles. This is Maxie, not Finn. Yeah, cuddles. No, don't stand on the computer.
So you can't do this with your dog.
I can't see you. You haven't got your picture up.
Oh.
I don't know what I don't want to know what you're doing with your dog if you can't show it. Nah, bless him. What's he doing to you, Arthur?
He's actually he's fearsome, angry, vicious dog.
So trusting of you.
He's just a smaller version of yours, you know?
Yeah, he is. Hang on, Finn's down here. There he is. There you go. Just leave them on, and we'll finish.
It's just Arthur looks like he's further away. That's all. Use a good boy. I'm secretly so flattered because Arthur always chooses my bed to sleep in the bottom of every night. He's got the whole family to choose from, but he comes to me. Look, he's totally zenned out.
No other loyalty like the loyalty of a dog.
You're all just logs and legs and fluff, rather. That's a good boy. It is a good boy. So he's coming down to Newquay again, and he's going to be on Dartmoor. So he's going to have a hell of a week. He's going to have a hell of a week next week.
He is.
Loving it. Look at the time.
I know, we're done. We're done. I think we'll just leave you with pictures of Finn and Arthur.
We got through another half hour without getting you sacked, Dave.
I know. I don't know how we managed that.
Even though I mentioned Hero. And then... I know we'll catch everyone later. You're an absolute star. Thank you for joining in. Having a quick look at the poor the dog. He loves it. He's loved it. Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you very much for turning up. And we'll have to look for some guests again, shouldn't we? I should get off my backside, start looking. It's been so busy, and then the week comes around, and before I know it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll have some guests on. Have a lovely week, mate, and I'll see you soon. See you, everyone.